Welcome. Tonight. Welcome. Tonight is a new night. Today is a new day. This is the 111 portal of individuality. Here we are. We finally made it to 2026. Today is January 1st, 2026. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means it's 1. That makes 1. And so January 1st, the first month of the first year, of the first day, today is 111. And that means we celebrate individuality. We also have 10-10-10. It's coming soon in October of 2026 because there are 12 months in this calendar system. And so we honor the 12. So year 111 is also 10-10-10. Year 222, 2027 is also 11-11-11. And year 333 is also 12-12-12. So we're going to celebrate our individuality. Now, individuality is important, okay? You cannot harmonize unless you have completed yourself. We have just went through the 999, the portal of leadership mode, the ending of the cycle. It was a closure time, a closure portal, a closure period of all of our lives, karmically, with the justice, with the vengeance, with the consequences. Things have ended. We have evolved, some of us. Some have not. They have devolved. And that is their path. But now is the time of individuality. Now is the time to embrace the self, to embrace who you are. Now, the 999 of leadership mode, the portal of completion. We have stepped into mastery. We have stepped into leadership mode. And now, with the 111, we are now leading with our individuality. It is a time of being solo. It is a time of being alone. How do we deal with being alone? We need to find stuff in our environment that comforts us, because we have no one else but ourselves. This is self-mastery. This is self-reliability. The harshness of this world is that sometimes, most of the time, and at the end of times, you cannot rely on anyone else but yourself. And so that is why we celebrate the 111. The solo, the mastery of being alone, of being selfish. Now, the word selfish gets a bad reputation. Why? Because we often meet selfish characters who manipulate us, who don't have a heart. Now, they're on a different path. Eventually, they're going to learn how to care through a lot of karma. But for people who have a heart, they are forced into these situations of survival where they need to be selfish. They need to learn how to provide for themselves so that they don't overextend themselves to others that do not deserve their time, do not deserve their energy. And so the individual learns self-control, self-mastery, to focus on the self, to provide for the self so that they can now make informed decisions of who to help and who not to help. The time of leadership mode has taught us the lessons, the harsh lessons of the decision-making process that we need to step up into mastery and make things happen on our own. Now, in the 111, we're here alone, and all we have is ourselves. And so, it is a survival situation. How do you cope? How do you adapt with being alone in a harsh world? No friends, no family, no opportunities. All you've got is you. And so this world likes to condemn individuality. The opposite of individuality is conformity. They want you to be placed into these boxes of stereotypes, of control mechanisms. They want you silenced. They want you blind. They want you deaf. They want to numb you. Why? Because you are a threat. A threat to the control narrative, to the old paradigm. This right here, you see this? My voice went out for a moment. That is called interference. Okay? There's a noise outside when my voice went out. This is spiritual interference. I'm here to talk to you, to inspire you to speak up for yourself, to lead with your individuality. Okay, we are in a spiritual war. This is a battlefield, and there are forces, energetic forces, that seek to silence us. What are we talking about? We just want a normal, happy life. Okay, all I want to do is play some video games and upload that to YouTube. For some reason, that threatens the entities, the demonic forces, the whatever. What is it? It's prosperity. I'm promoting freedom of speech, freedom of individuality, and these basic fundamental things. It's just wanting to play a video game, and yet it's such a threat to the old paradigm. Why? It really doesn't make sense, but the thing is, you walk down the street and you get stabbed. You don't know why. Someone did it. And it happens so much, you have to be aware that it happens. Okay, we don't usually get the answers. We don't usually get the reasons why. It just happens, and we have to prepare for that. And so, by extension, this is a weird war. This is an energy war, where we can't see the enemy. We can't actively fight against the enemy. It's energy, it's spiritual, and it comes in forms of your voice going out when you're trying to inspire the people to speak, to use your own voices. And all these little tiny things add up. And the thing is, you don't know if something is there until you observe the absence of something. Okay, you can't just... It's not just what things do that provides an outcome. It's also what things don't do, which also provides an outcome. For example, action. There are consequences to action. There are also consequences to inaction. And it's by observing these inactions, by noticing what these individuals do not do, then we get a different picture. A clear picture of the threat. Like it or not, we are all at war. And the solution is to master yourself. Embrace your individuality. Because this is a whole new start, a whole new beginning. We did it. We went through the battles. We went through a whole completion of 1 to 9. We're back at 1 again. This is the new time where things are growing, where things are becoming new, fresh. They're going to grow. Right now, it's very small. It's just the seeds. But we gotta nurture that. We gotta believe in ourselves, because only us will do what we need to do in our lives. We can only rely on us through the deceit, through the manipulation. If you are good within yourself, you cannot be manipulated. If you value yourself, if you speak honesty, if you embrace who you really are, then you have a shield. You have this psychic, energetic shield that will protect you, because you are whole and complete. And for those of you searching for a mate, searching for a friend, searching for a place to belong, because you're alone, you've been alone for a long time. Well, now is a new beginning. We had the dark night of the soul in the 999. Now, things are new. So we still feel alone. We're still new to the process. We're going to new places. New businesses are opening up. New products are on the shelves. New entertainers are stepping onto the stage. Everything is new. And so there's that feeling of despair that lingers on from the dark night of the soul over to the new beginnings. Now, there's a phenomenon with new beginnings that the universe somehow makes all the new beginnings have interference. Now, think about this however you want. You are tested. You are interfered with because you're attacked. Regardless of the reason why it happens. And so we have to pay attention to that. New beginnings always face an onslaught of attacks. Now, maybe this is the universe kind of redirecting us, kind of molding us into the forms that are most beneficial to our overall path of agenda. For example, I was going to publish a comic book, but I was delayed. It was my first comic book. It was my first chapter, my first episode of comic books, but I never got it out because the universe just delayed and delayed and delayed. And at that time, a long time ago, I was going to dedicate my story to people that I would never dedicate anything to anymore. And so, at the time, I was vulnerable, suicidal, and so watching them, their content was so inspiring for me, and so I thought I would dedicate my works to them because I lived another day by watching their content. And now after the years have passed, I look at their content again and I'm embarrassed. They say bad words. I don't support their current agenda. And it would have been embarrassing to publish something that I made myself with my sweat, blood, tears. It's my creation, and I should dedicate that to me. Because only I am doing this. And so, my creations will not be dedicated to people who don't deserve that. This is embracing the selfishness, where I need to own what is mine. I can't just have this open heart and give the things I don't have for myself to others, to share all this respect for people who would never respect me. And so that is the lesson of the individuality, is that you have to be true to yourself first. You have to save yourself first before you can save other people. And when you save other people, you need to be aware if they're deserving of that or not. The 999 leadership mode was to identify what's really worth your time. The 111 of individuality is to take that first step into action, implementation, and to go forth on your journey alone, because this is the new beginning. But it's on the path that you chose yourself. You did it your way. I'm doing it my way. And it is only when we embrace our true selves that we can meet other people and resonate with our mates, with our friends, with our support groups, with our communities, because we're not living a lie. We're not wearing a mask. We're showing who we really are. And it's only by doing that, by embracing yourself fully, that you meet people like you. Okay? This takes a form of when someone says bad words and you don't want to ever tolerate that, you speak up about it. Say, that behavior is unacceptable. It's below my base standard. And if you want to interact with me, you will say good words, clean words, respectful words to me. That's one example. If someone says something offensive to you, you have to state your boundaries. When you stay silent, when you don't speak up for yourself, yeah, sure. Maybe you can, just exit the stage and never talk to him again. That's your choice. But if you keep the company of them, you gotta tell them what you will tolerate, what you like, what you dislike. And if they meet you there, to your base standard, then maybe that's something you can invest your time in. If not, you gotta move on, focus on yourself, because you got a whole journey ahead of you, full of wonderful, amazing creatures, of characters who would actually embrace you for being you, who value and appreciate you for who you are. This is individuality. This is the 111. And so tonight, this morning, this new dawn, I have for you a tarot reading. Now, these are new cards. I got this. I found this in a storage locker I had for 10 years. This is also the 10-10-10 year. So, there's that. And since this is a new deck, I'm gonna use this for the 111 reading. So, this morning, you will get 10 piles of one card with this deck, and I will talk about it. And you get one pile of 10 cards all together, and I will talk about that. So you get 11 piles, but 10 piles have one card, and one pile has 10 cards. And so that is this morning's reading for celebration of individuality. And so with these cards, which these cards right here. Now I modified these because sometimes they have different art than I agree with for their suit, for their element. So what I did is I went around the edges and darkened them so you don't know what they are. And I'm gonna treat this deck, the Fae Tarot, as an oracle deck. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, we got all these cool art. It's a little different. So this is a wonderful card. Where'd it go? There it is. This one. I like this one. Happy New Year's to you. Yeah. It's important to learn how to have fun all alone when you don't have friends. This is the energy to embrace the video games, to entertain yourself. A lot of people have difficulty being alone, and so they surround themselves with characters that aren't really worthy of being around. A lot of people have this tendency to submit, to put on a facade, to blend in, to be a part of a group, because at least they're not alone. And I'm here to tell you, it is far better to be alone than to suffer in the wrong company. And now, in your new beginning, you don't want tainted old connections, doing the drama to ruin your new beginning. You gotta cut ties. Okay, you had your dark night of the soul. You had the opportunity to test out these karmic situations. Now, you have no time for that. This is your new beginning, your new path, and you have a responsibility to yourself to not let anybody interfere with your decisions, to embrace your individual path. Okay, if you're getting pressure from any kind of source, peer pressure from like friends or colleagues or family, if they want you to go down one path and your heart, your soul is for another path, you gotta follow your soul, your soul's calling, your heart's desire. Don't do something because it's expected of you. Be who you are. Okay. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So let's see what the cards have to say. Okay. What I'm gonna do is pull out 10 cards, and then you can choose your pile, and then I'll do all the individual cards, and we'll have readings. It'll be amazing. Now, with individuality, there is loneliness. Okay, there's the despair. You have to remind yourself to fully commit to your path. Just because you're lonely now, just because you don't have anyone right now, it's difficult. It's tiresome. Being alone teaches you things that you couldn't get in a group dynamic, in a group setting. Loneliness, being alone, it teaches self-mastery. So, say you're short and you have to get something from a high shelf, there's no one around. You have to figure out how to get up there. And so, you become an inventor. You make all these things where you can't reach, but you grab something to reach with. And so you start using your mind to navigate through all these obstacles. If you're too weak to lift something up heavy, you learn about leverage and do like all these straps and these pulley systems, and you make things work. And you wouldn't get that experience if you had help. If you had people to lift the heavy things, to reach the high places. By being, small and weak and alone, you learn how to thrive in a very creative way to get things done that normally, would require support, would require help. Hold on. There's, hang on. When I was putting together my computer desk, right here. You see this? That's the desk I have. Down at the bottom, it says suggestion. You can't read it because it's blurry, but maybe there. Suggestion. To make the installation process easier and faster, we recommend that 2 people work together to install the computer desk. Well, I don't have another person. All I have is myself. And so, as an individual who's been isolated for decades, I see this. Over here. 2 people working together. And I probably start crying because I have no one. But there's also a sense of pride where it's like I don't need another person to put together a desk. Yeah, I got me. All right. I put together this desk all by myself. You can see that in my feature behind the scenes content. But yeah. Like, it would be nice if I had a friend, but I don't. No one has ever had a heart around me. But, you know, sometimes when you have to do things alone, then you get so used to being alone, to doing it yourself, that the mere thought of having someone else to help you can be like, well, why? Why when I can do this myself? When I can master this? Why tolerate someone else who's not gonna do their part? You learn how to work alone and have full creative control over your projects, over your career path. You work for yourself. Everything about individuality is about finding that strength and courage to stand out, to make an impact by yourself, to speak up, to say that thing that might ostracize you, that might make you an outcast to your social dynamic, but you did it because it resonates with you, with your soul, with your heart, and you can't live if you're not true to you. Okay, there's all these people who are so dedicated just to not be alone that they cling on to all these people who are so toxic and damaging. And so when they could have elevated, they lower, they descend, they devolve, and they create these dependencies, these addictions, and they become weaker and weaker, and they start to decay. And unfortunately, that happens every day. A lot of people don't have the courage to stand alone. And so, we're going to talk about that with these cards here. Let's get into the reading. And here we are. Now I will shuffle 10 cards. See what comes out. The celebration card. Yay. Happy New Year's. Individuality. Let's get 10 cards. There's 5 right there. There we go. We have the piles. Now, how this is going to work is that you can select your pile now, or you can continue watching for just a little bit, and I will flip over the cards. But first, I will show you my perspective, which is right here. There we go. These are your piles. Pile 1, Pile 2, Pile 3, Pile 4, Pile 5, Pile 6, Pile 7, Pile 8, Pile 9, Pile 10, and at the very end, for the 11th, I will choose all of them and talk about it. So, choose your pile now, or wait and see all the cards flipped, and then choose your pile. Choose now. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last chance. Okay, let's flip over the cards. For pile 1, we have this. 3 of Cups situation in reverse. Pile 2. Ooh, we have this. This is the same image as the box, but it's in reverse. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this card is in the tarot because I don't. It's not what you think it is. It's an oracle deck for me, so I'm going to do my own things. My own individual perspective. Pile 3. We have a tree. Yippee. Pile 4. We have Fireman in falling energy. Pile 5. We have kids playing. Pile 6. We have a lonely child and a broken cup. Pile 7. We have the dagger and the betrayal. Pile 8. We have another sword in reverse. Pile 9. We have someone swinging above a cup. In pile 10, we have a creator, an artist. Now, if you want me to do this reading, you can check this out, all 10 cards, in pile 11. Otherwise, choose a card, choose a pile, and I will specifically talk about one card for a while. I'll see you in your pile.